You are staring at a spider web of shattered gray glass on the back of an iPhone 13 Pro. The owner is handing you $130 in cash. Desperate to avoid the $449 bill the Apple Store just quoted them for a full housing replacement. You realize that your cost for the replacement glass is exactly $12. That leaves you with a $118 profit margin for just 90 minutes of work per month. But as you pick up your heat gun, you aren't just looking at a repair. You're looking at a fragile, high-stakes vault of delicate electronics that can be destroyed by a single millimeter of error. The gap between that $12 part and the hundreds of dollars in repair fees exists because of a massive information asymmetry. Most consumers are trapped behind a fear barrier, convinced that the glass is permanently fused to the electronics beneath. Meanwhile, professional shops guard their secret. They don't actually need the $1,000 laser machines they claim are essential to burn off the adhesive. They don't want you to know that with a controlled application of heat and a specialized manual separation tool, that industrial epoxy can be peeled away by hand. To breach this vault, your initial investment for a toolkit is $85. You lay out your temperature-controlled heat gun, a suction cup clamp, ultra-thin steel pry blades, safety glasses, and a heavy-duty respirator to keep the microscopic glass dust out of your lungs. You also have your tube of cold-press adhesive ready to seal the new panel once the surgery is complete. It seems simple, but the vault has a hidden alarm system. The single mistake that ruins this side hustle before it starts is sliding your metal pry tool more than 3 millimeters underneath the glass near the center of the frame. If you push that blade just a hair too deep, you will slice directly through the wireless charging coil or the volume flex cable. In that split second, your profit evaporates, and you are now responsible for paying out of pocket to replace the hardware you just destroyed. You are performing surgery on a device that Apple never designed to be opened, and the margin you see is only as secure as your own steady hand. But what happens when you stop looking at this as a one-off repair and start looking at it as an assembly line? The real volume doesn't come from the people you know. It comes from local independent used phone resellers who are constantly stuck with cracked inventory they can't sell. If you partner with them, you can perform 4 repairs a week at a wholesale rate of $95 profit per device. That brings in $380 every 7 days. By the end of the month, you have hit a consistent ceiling of over $1,500 for just a few hours of part-time evening work. It is a lucrative, repeatable loop. But as you sit at your desk, the heat gun humming in your hand, you stare again at the tiny ribbon cables resting just millimeters beneath that sheet of shattered glass. You have to decide if the margin is really worth the risk of turning a customer's phone into a paperweight. If you manage to bypass the internal cables today, you still have to figure out how to scale your reputation before the local market saturates. But that is a story for another time.